Here are 10 things you might want to consider before boondocking. Hey everybody, I'm Garrett.
And I'm Carolyn.
And we're Diary of a Family.
And we're living life intentionally with you. Today we want to share with you 10 things you need to think about or have to help you get started boondocking.
Number 1, finding a location to boondock. There are a few different options that you can use to find good places to boondock.
Word of mouth.
Google.
And apps such as Campendium.
There are tons of options, and you can even go to Google Maps and just Google like BLM dispersed camping or BLM land, and a lot of times you'll find a nice area that's not too far out of the way from where you are wanting to be.
Well, this happens to be our overnight spot. Isn't this gorgeous? I think we're at Dog Canyon. Kids have found some other kids in that trailer there. They're hanging out with. I'm gonna go just check on them. Look at those clouds. Oh my gosh. Craziness.
Number 2, if at all possible, try and scout the location before you arrive.
Oh, that can be really key, you guys. Such as this experience that we had.
Link in the description. We got our truck stuck as we were looking for boondocking locations. Now just imagine if we were trying to go there with our 40-foot rig.
You can also see pretty quickly if the space is trashed, has garbage everywhere.
Glass.
If you've got lots of squatters in rundown trailers.
Yeah.
It's super important that you are safe when you take your family boondocking. For those of you who have no option to leave your trailer somewhere and go scouting, just be very careful when you leave the pavement. What in the world are we doing out here?
Sunday stroll through the neighborhood.
We're out in the middle of a piece of trust land and we're trying to see if we have access to get into.
Some of the ground has been very soft.
Right,
So
you had to kick it in a four-wheel drive.
I had to kick it in a four-wheel drive just to get out.
You got a dinosaur?
Yeah, it's...
Oh, we're dead ending here.
Number 3, know how long you can stay in one location for free. Most boondocking locations is kind of a standard 14 days, but other places like in Quartzsite, you could stay up to 6 months with a permit.
And then there are other places that only allow you to stay a week.
I mean, you could even boondock in a rest area, and that's like 24 hours. So before you attempt to go camping free boondocking, make sure you know how long you can stay so that you can avoid that 6 a.m. wake-up call from a police officer. Now, some boondocking locations require that you purchase a permit. Like the Arizona Trust Land, you can boondock out there, but you have to buy their required permits.
This is usually a very small fee and allows you to camp in specified locations. Number 4, scout out and make sure you know where you can get fresh water. Many places you can find to fill up jugs for free. Several options for finding fresh water. You can look on Campendium and actually filter for finding water. You can also buy your water at grocery stores. Gas stations may let you fill up water as well. And if worse comes to worse, you can always find campgrounds, state parks, or even other RV parks and call them and find out if you can get water for a nominal fee.
There are plenty of options to get water. Just figure out what works best for the area you are in.
Let's see how the bladder is now. Hardly any bigger.
No, it's bigger.
So we're here at Saddle Vista Ranch. We are getting water. All right, guys, let's go inside and see the little tortoise. Oh, I haven't held one this small. Anna, come over here.
Grass, you can throw grass up in there. The babies, that's what they eat.
The babies eat grass too.
Yeah,
hold it?
you can throw it right up in
He's
there.
got little toenails, so they'll be a little tickly.
Number 5, know where the nearest dump station is. This runs along the same lines as finding fresh water. You can use apps like Campendium again and filter for dump stations. One cool thing that I've found is there's a lot of rest stops on a lot of these major highways that have dump stations for you there. And most of the time, those are free. But there's also other places like ranches and also campgrounds and travel stops that will have dump station services available.
Another thing you're going to need is a generator, especially if you don't have huge batteries and if you don't have solar. Now, choosing the correct size generator depends on your rig and what you're planning to run with it. Some people have small rigs and only run a few things like their hot water tank and their coffee pot, which won't require very much power. A rig like ours, we have a Predator 3500. It's been running fantastic for the past 2 years for us. With our big rig, it's necessary to have such a large generator to run our AC and any other electrical things that we need.
Even if you have solar and batteries, it is still a good thing to have a generator on board, because what if you have multiple cloudy days and you don't have the option to charge your battery? Having something that can charge your batteries is also very helpful to have.
We don't have solar and we don't have fancy lithium batteries, but we boondock just fine and very comfortably using the generator option. Remember to have several cans of gas on hand, and you do need to find gas that is either the premium or ethanol free. Number 7, you need some way to cart the fresh water that you have found back to your rig, because nobody likes to drag their rig all the way in just to fill the tanks and dump the tanks. Most of the time we run out of water pretty quickly before our black and grays are filled. So you will want some large jugs, or in our case we have a large water bladder. This folds up nice and tight and small and is lightweight for traveling and fits in the back of the truck when filled.
We are filling this into our tanks. This is a 60-gallon bladder that holds fresh water. With all the boondocking we're planning on doing this winter, we're going to be using this thing a whole lot. Number 8, purchase foods that are easy to store and do not require a lot of electricity to make.
When we're boondocking, I do not use my Instant Pot as much as I would when we have hookups. And this is because we have to run our generator constantly while we are using the Instant Pot. So instead, I have found ways to use my propane stove top and oven, as well as our Blackstone grill outside. This means that we can cook completely without electricity and only with propane. He even does his coffee heating up water on the stove in a tea kettle. It's going to be a little trickier for those of you who have a residential refrigerator. We have a propane electric refrigerator that allows us to draw very minimal amounts of power off of our batteries.
Number 9, let a family or friend know where you are going, either by telling them where you're camping, such as a BLM land, or giving them the GPS coordinates. This is very important if you run into any kind of problems, because when you're out there by yourself, no one really knows you're there.
Your safety is key when it comes to boondocking. If you're out there by yourself, make sure somebody knows where you are. Number 10 also has to do with your safety and enjoyability of boondocking. When at all possible, boondock with others. Right up there, in that A-class in front of us, is our good friends Kent and Lisa from Living Light RV. We met up with them at a rest stop and we are headed to Quartzsite. We're only about 20 minutes away or so. So here's a normal evening in Quartzsite. Woohoo! Potluck tonight. It's gonna be awesome fun. It's our last night here. We're only staying for a few days and then going back to work. Bummer. But we've got awesome friends to meet at our next location. We've really enjoyed our stay here at Quartzsite, and we will be back next year. Garrett has been working on a project installing our new backup camera. He did a really good job, I think.
Make sure to join us next week as we talk about creating community while you're boondocking.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. Hopefully these tips will help you be a little more confident in your first boondocking experience. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, live life intentionally.